to Waterford Library Storytime. Today, Ted and I are going to be reading you a story called Pigín's Unexpected Adventure. And this book was written by Kathleen Watkins and published by Gill Books. So thank you, Kathleen, and thank you, Gill Books, for letting us read the story today. So I hope you're sitting comfortably. You ready, Ted? Okay. Pigín's Unexpected Adventure. No rain, yippee! Pigín breathed a sigh of relief. It was a great day for the fairies' annual summer party. He set off with Badger for the woods behind Howth Castle. The scene that awaited them was spectacular. Oh, a party! Loads of fun. Oh, I'd love to go to a party, Ted, would you? And a fairy party. Imagine. Let's see what the fairies have at their party. Oh, look at the mice, said Badger. 6 mice were dancing around in a circle, using their tails as skipping ropes. As the seals from the harbour were special guests, the fairies had set up a row of seawater showers so that they could splash in and out. How kind and thoughtful of the fairies, said Pigín. Look at all that delicious food. Look. Cakes, and there's loads of balloons. Balloons are my favourite part of the party, but I think cake is Ted's favourite, right, Ted? Yeah. The Fairy Queen reminded the fairies about their table manners. Mouths should be closed when eating, and knives and forks put together when finished. The food was so scrumptious that Pigín nearly licked his knife, but remembered that would be rude, just in time. After the meal, Pigín stood on a chair to sing for the guests. Pigín wasn't the best at singing, but all the guests clapped anyway. Then there was dancing, so everyone gave Pigín their balloons to hold. Little did he know what would happen next. There's Pigín up on his stool, singing to everybody. I wonder what's going to happen to him next. Suddenly, Pigín was airborne. He flew high above his friends, the party, and the castle. The guests couldn't believe their eyes. They gasped when they saw his little trotters wriggling as the balloons brought him up, up, up towards the clouds. There he goes. I wonder what that would be like, flying up into the sky on the balloons. Might be lots of fun, mightn't it? Luckily, Pigín was spotted by an Aer Lingus pilot who lived near him on the hill of Howth. The green bird was flying out towards the Irish Sea. "Is it yourself, Pigín?" asked the pilot. "Come on in here." The captain pulled Pigín into the cockpit and the balloons floated away. "Where are we going?" asked Pigín. "To London." "Oh, a dream come true. I always wanted to go to London. This would be my chance to meet the Queen of England." A kind air steward gave Pigín tea and biscuits, and in no time at all, they'd landed at Heathrow. So there he is, tucking into his tea and biscuits on the airplane. And I wonder, will he get to see the Queen over in London? Soon Pigín found himself on a very fast and loud train to London City. He booked into a small hotel behind the famous Harrods store, which he remembered Nana Kit talking about on her last trip to London. "Do you have any luggage, sir?" asked the surprised receptionist. "None," said Pigín. "Anything I need can be provided by the fairies." Oh, well, that's different," she exclaimed, exchanging a glance with one of her colleagues. So I suppose they're not used to meeting people that have things provided by the fairies for them, are they? No. When Pigín got to his room, he had a nice sudsy shower and feasted on the fruit and chocolate left in a pretty dish on the table. Suddenly, the wardrobe clicked open to the sounds of orchestral music. A clothes hanger floated out with a beautiful tweed green suit and laid itself on the bed. "Magic," Pigín thought. "Thank you, dear fairies," he said. "Perfect for a visit to Buckingham Palace." So the fairies did provide him with what he needed. And he's going to head off, I think. Oh, there it is. There's the suit coming out of the wardrobe. Pigín changed into the new suit and looked at himself in the mirror. "Now that looks good," he thought. "I'm ready for the road." Pigín almost stopped the traffic when he went out to hail a cab. Pigs in tweed suits are not a usual sight in the streets of London. I don't think so. Well, they're not a usual sight on the streets of Ireland either, are they? I don't think I've ever seen a pig in a tweed suit. Have you? Have you, Ted? No, we haven't. So let's see, does he make it to Buckingham Palace? He got into a cab and said to the driver, "First stop, Buckingham Palace, please." "You look very smart," said the friendly driver. "Are you going somewhere special?" "To see the Queen, I hope," said Pigín. "Oh," she said, smiling. "Not everyone gets to meet the Queen, you know. Buckle up, Buckingham Palace, here we come." Off they go. Well, I've been to Buckingham Palace, but I've never seen the Queen. So I wonder will Pigín get to see her? When Pigín arrived at the palace, people were gathered at the gates, which opened slowly as a big black car drove out. Pigín could not believe it when he saw the Queen smiling and waving at the crowds. "Wonder where they're off to," Pigín said out loud, disappointed that he wouldn't get to meet her. "Majesty heads for Windsor Castle every weekend," one of the guards said. "Well, at least I can say I saw her," thought Pigín. "And now I will continue my tour." There's the Queen. She's looking very happy setting off for the weekend at Windsor Castle. Next, he headed to number 10 Downing Street, the home of the Prime Minister. He arrived there to find more policemen and tourists. "Oh, I'd love to have my picture taken at the door of number 10, please," said Pigín to the policeman. "If it's not too much trouble." "Not a chance," was the reply. "Please, please, please," said Pigín. The policeman consulted with his colleagues and kindly escorted Pigín to the door and took his picture. "Oh, thank you so much," he said. "And where do you think I should go next?" "To the London Eye. You can see the whole city from the top," was the reply. "Oh, that sounds exciting," said Pigín. So off he went in search of the big wheel. There he is at the door of number 10. And now he's setting off to see the big wheel. Pigín got his ticket and joined the queue, where he gazed up at the giant wheel moving slowly round and round. In no time at all, he was in one of the glass bubbles heading up to the sky. It was such a thrill, and Pigín looked out on so many wonderful sights, including the boats on the Thames. There he is, going up, up, up into the sky. He's been up in the sky a lot in his adventures, hasn't he? Pigín made his way to the edge of the great river Thames and joined another queue. A man began to sing Cruising Down the River and everyone joined in. On board, they had a lovely lunch and looked at the sights as the guide pointed them out. Pigín made friends with everyone and had the most wonderful time. "Such beautiful buildings," he said to a friendly lady beside him. "Too much to do in one day." "You will have to come for another visit soon," she said. "I think you will. There's a lot to see in London. There's a lot to fit in just one day, Pigín." Pigín knew on this visit he had to get to the Tower of London to see the crown jewels. Nothing could have prepared him for the beautiful tiaras and crowns he saw in glass cases. They glistened and sparkled, and a kind man in a beautiful uniform brought in a small box for Pigín to stand on, so he could get a really good look. He could hardly tear himself away. "I must buy pictures of these jewels in the gift shop for Nana Kit," he thought. "Look at those lovely jewels. Wow, crowns and tiaras. They're all sparkly." Pigín's getting a very close look at them, isn't he? Soon it was time to go. On the plane home, Pigín fell asleep dreaming of the sights he had seen on his unexpected London adventure. When he awoke, the green bird had just landed. "Welcome to Dublin," said the pilot over the speaker. "Oh, I hope Nana Kit will be waiting for me," Pigín thought. It was a wonderful adventure in London. So there he is, heading back home again. So we had a wonderful time in London, but there's no place like home. And there's Nana Kit waiting for him there. And I would agree with Pigín. There's no place like home. Isn't that right? Right, Ted? No place like home. But I hope you enjoyed our little story about Pigín. And thank you again, Kathleen, and thank you, Gill Books, for letting us read it today. I hope you'll join us for another story time very soon. Take care.